Hi there. Okay, so today we're going to discuss two children. Okay, we're going to role model two children. So you have a child who likes dolls. Okay, this child likes dolls, anything toy, that's what they like. And then there's another child who likes trucks, cars, anything that moves on the floor. They'll just be moving on the floor and doing all sorts. And the problem is, that's all they want to do. If you give them any work or school activity, writing activity, interest is zero. And then you get worried. It's like, oh, my child doesn't want to learn. They don't want to do anything. All they want to do is play with their toys, play with their cars, and just move around the house. My advice to you, okay, is your child is interested in something, right? Your child is interested in dolls. Your child is interested in cars. Maybe your child is interested in butterflies. Maybe your child is interested in flowers. Maybe your child is interested in seeing live cars move up and down the street. And then maybe your child likes trees. Your child likes to go around and go, oh, I like that tree. Oh, I like that flower. Oh, I like. So always be very, focused on what your child is saying, right? Be focused on what your child is saying, because that's where is when you're focused on what they are saying or what they are doing that you'll be able to pick up on what to do to help them. Okay, it's not always a teacher's duty to help your child. If you go that route, you wouldn't get the help that you need. Always be involved in your child's learning. So when you're involved in your child's learning and they go to school and they do what they have to do, you see the learning accelerates so fast. Okay, so let's meet your child at their point of interest. If you want them to learn, right? They don't want to learn. Do you just leave them? No. You have to meet them at their point of interest. So the child who likes dolls, maybe they are struggling with counting, or you want them to do counting. Okay, so fine, your child is playing with the dolls. And then you can go and pick the dolls yourself, put them on a table or on the floor somewhere, sit on the floor and invite your child and say, oh, Araba, come, let's count the dolls. Let's see how many dolls are in the bowl. Oh, Justin, come, let's see how many dolls are in the bowl. So then you go, you have to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At this point, it's either your child is going to be sitting next to you and helping you to count, or they're just going to be watching you from afar. But don't give up, because even as your child is watching from afar, they are also learning. They internalize their learning. Sometimes even in the classroom, there are some children, they won't sit down or they won't participate in the activity, but they are listening. So all those children that are passive listeners, they are always listening and picking up on something. They don't always have to be active learners, So you're counting and your child is listening. The numbers that you are mentioning is in the environment and your child is right there. As you do it, then maybe the next day you try it again, or in the evening you try it again, you see that your child's interest will be rising and rising and rising and rising. And by the time you realize, they would even go and pick the box themselves, or they pick the toys themselves, and all you hear is them lining it up and going 1, 2, 3, right? So then your child is counting. So let's say you want to do counting, that's how you can do it. Let's say you want to teach your child colors. Okay, so they like dolls. Colors. So you want to teach them yellow. So then you pick this and you go yellow. This is yellow. Okay? This is yellow. Wow, that's a nice toy. And if your child, is a bit old and they can, you can do 2 or 3 colors at a time. So you can say pink, yellow, pink, yellow. And then you can look for another toy that has the same color. You go, oh, that's another pink. So then you can put this one here so they can see, and you go pink, yellow. And now this one is pink and yellow. So if they are that young, you don't want to, concentrate on so many colors, right? So we can do just this pink and yellow. And if another time you want to introduce another color, you do the primary colors first though, right? Okay, so you do red, you do blue, then you do yellow. And afterwards, you can decide to do any other color gradually, okay? So you have pink. You can teach pink. So you can say pink, right? Very nice, pink. Very good. And then this is white. So you can get different colors from toys, okay? And if you want to concentrate on one color, fine, go ahead and concentrate on one color. If your child is old enough to understand, then you can do multiple colors. They still will pick up, okay? Right, unless they are really struggling, then you take your time and you take it one at a time, okay? So it's the same with the tracks or the cars. You're teaching counting. So you call your child and you go, oh wow, I like this car, it's very nice. Let's count the cars in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, you are meeting your child at their point of interest, right? You're not going, hey, come, write. Thomas, come here, take the pen, the pencil, write. And then what do? They'll be screaming, I'm tired, I'm this. But then you won't hear them saying they're tired, but then you're still teaching them, right? You're still teaching them. Even if you want them to kind of learn how to move the pencil or the crayon back and forth, we can do that with this. It's going to serve the same purpose initially, right? So that when that happens over and over and over and over, and next time you give them something to go up and down, the transition is going to be easy, okay? So, right. So we've done counting with this. And then, look, it has the color green. You can teach colors the same way you did with the dolls. You can teach colors. There are different colors in the cars. So all these red, yellow, green, another yellow, right? There's red here. There's blue over here. There's red right here. There is silver, right? There's black. So you can teach colors right there. So you're teaching numbers, you're teaching colors, right? And then you can also decide to get, if your child likes trees, you can take them outside and then you can tell them, oh, let's count the trees. Then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, then you keep counting, right? You keep counting and counting and counting, and by the time you realize, they're counting like 1 to 50. Because you can count, if it's like 20 trees that you see, you can count all of that, right? And then if you see birds, if your child likes birds, then fine, you go somewhere that you can find a lot of birds, and then you can count the birds. 1, 2, oh, what color is that bird? Oh, that's a green bird. Wow, what color is that bird? It's a yellow bird. Then you see your child is like, oh yeah, let's go count the birds. Daddy, I want to go and count the birds. Never ever ignore these things when your child starts showing interest in something, okay? And don't always say you need to finish that paperwork, you need to do this, you need to do that. If the foundation is great, you have children that are interested in learning, and that's what we want, okay? That is exactly what we want. And then one thing you need to note, always know how your child's school does things. There is always a reason why a school will decide, oh, let me make sure the child is well prepared before I launch them into something, right? But if you're a parent and you're always giving the school pressure and saying, oh, my child is this age and they're not writing, and that child is my child's age and they're writing up to this and that. Think of it. That child is probably writing, but then they are probably not doing another thing that the other child knows how to do very well. So be very careful. Don't compare your children. Education is not a race, okay? And the preschool age or the foundation stage is also not a race, because if you rush and you do it and you don't do it well, it's going to affect your child in the long run, okay? So take your time, meet your child at the point of interest if they are not interested in going straight to the paper, right? Because guess what? If they're not well prepared, they won't be happy to do the work. But we want to have happy children that are learning through play, right? And they learn through play and you get the same results, and then gradually you transition them into the abstract. You transition them into what you really want them to do, right? But then you let them know that, oh, I see that you like cars. I will help you with the cars, but then we're going to do the work gradually in it. You know, we're going to put what I need from you right there in your things of interest, right? Okay, so I think that is one aspect I really wanted to share, because a lot of people make a mistake of comparing their children, but then they don't realize that their child is also unique in a way, because maybe their child is not reading, but then their child can recite all the continents and then the names of oceans and even countries, flags of countries, you know. And through that, if it's a really good school, they should be able to use that and help the child with their reading activities or their writing activities. And so there is no one area of learning that is isolated. No, they are intertwined, okay? So for instance, if you come to my Montessori classroom, I have the practical life area, I have the sensorial area, I have the language area, the math, I have the geography and science, okay? But if you ask me, I'll tell you, in the practical life area, I can teach language, I can teach math, I can also teach geography and science. You understand? In the sensorial area, there are some activities that kind of, it's kind of like a precursor to math, but it's sensorial, right? So the areas are not isolated. The areas are intertwined. So learning is not, you don't teach learning in isolation. If a child concentrates on one area for a long time and they don't get the chance to practice other areas, then it kind of affects them in a way, right? So you want to let your child be all round. It's very important. Encourage your child. Get interested in their learning. Get involved in what they do. Look at the homework that comes. Use that to follow what your child is doing. Make sure that if you're not too sure about something, you find out from your child's teacher, okay? A school that doesn't allow you to do that, then it's not a good school. But you have to believe. Once you've chosen the school, it means you believe in how they do things and that you're going to support what they do to help your child, okay? Right. Thank you very much, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to share some more tips, okay? These are very practical classroom tips that I'm sharing, right? Okay, bye-bye.